In this video, I'm just going to show you the basic setup of the Digifly, how to turn it on and off, and talk you through the pages that the Digifly has and what it shows you on the screen, and what all the things on it mean. You can actually change these pages to display information that you want them to display, and you can change the whole layout, and you can make it different sizes and customize it to exactly how you want it to look. I'll show that, but in a different video. This video is just going to show the standard pages that come with the Vario. In order to turn on your Digifly, first of all you press and hold the power button, and then you have 6 seconds to press the OK button, and then it launches up. Now you'll notice that during the launch process it tells you the current firmware and how much memory you've got, but it's not on for very long, but you can make it stay on for longer. I'll just turn it off and then back on again and show you. Now you may notice when I press this button now, it's not. If I press now and hold the OK button and hold the button down, this screen will stay on as long as I am holding the OK button. And here you can see the firmware version that I'm using on this one is 704A-019. So 704 is the latest version of the firmware at the time that I'm recording this. Now the Digifly previously was ordered into 6 different pages that would change during the flight. Now it's ordered into 4 pages on the latest firmware, and I'm going to talk you through the pages and explain how they work. But basically the pages are in pairs. So you have a pair of pages for when you are in the start cylinder before the actual race starts. Oh, sorry, that was just my Vario telling me that the gate was open from the task that we had yesterday. Anyway, so you have a pair of pages for the start and a pair of pages for the rest of the flight. And the pages are a thermal page and a glide page that give you slightly different information, and they automatically change between themselves. You can also change the pages yourself by clicking these 2 buttons here. So if I click this button, it goes on to the next page and clicks through the pages, and similarly I can go back through the pages. At the bottom right is where the page number is, and you can see which page you're on. That's page 1, page 2, page 3, that's actually in a different place there, and page 4. But it becomes obvious while you're flying, but you really don't need to touch the instrument while you're flying. So let's explain the information that is on each of these pages. So if I start with page 4, this is actually when you're in the start cylinder, and this is whilst you're gliding within the start cylinder. So the left hand side on every single page you've got your Vario, which tells you if you're going up or down, and this number here tells you the rate at which you're going up or down. Now I've got mine set into feet, so this is so if that was a 1.0 I would be going up at 100 feet a minute. And there's also a scale that goes up and down here to show you a visual representation of you going up and down. Top left here you have got the your current altitude, which is your barometric altitude, and then at the top right here, so this is, bear in mind, this is the start cylinder. This is the speed that you need to fly. Speed, it says SS, speed to start. So that's the speed that you need to fly in order to get to the start just as the time clicks over for the start. Here you have your speed, so your current speed, and that number there shows you that current speed. And here you have your speed over the ground. This little symbol here denotes your current glide ratio, so what you're gliding at. And this is the glide ratio that you need to achieve the start, the glide ratio you need to get to the start. I don't actually bother with that, because that would mean if it was like 10 to 1, I'd be 10 to 1 to get to the start and land there, and I don't want to do that, so I'd never bother with that one myself. Here is the name of the first waypoint, or the current waypoint, or in this case the start, and that arrow shows you the direction you need to go in order to get to the start. So if the arrow is pointing directly up, then you are heading directly to the start. Also on the navigation, you'll see there's a compass rose here, or not a compass rose, a compass strip here, and you'll see a little circle here. So that little circle denotes the exact position that I need to go to the start. So at the moment I'm going facing towards the left of the start a little bit, so I would turn my glider to the right and that circle would come to the left. Now as you get closer, you will see that there are two circles. One of them is a double circle, the other one is a single circle with a dot. One of them denotes the shortest distance to get to that start, and the other one denotes the optimal distance. And here on this graphical display here, you can actually see the waypoint cylinder start, and you can see a dotted line that of my projected route. So as you can see, the dotted line here is taking me the shortest distance. The optimal distance, I would fly slightly to the right here and then shoot off this way. So these two directions are slightly different, and the closer you get to it, the more obvious it becomes. So this is currently showing me, I think, the shortest distance. That one, the optimal one, is probably over to the right here a little bit. In fact, no, it's not. It's because I'm quite a distance away, so they're probably hidden between each other because I'm too far away. And here again, we have distance DO and D1. Distance, shortest distance is DO, shortest distance to get to the turn point, and D1 is the optimal distance. Down at the bottom we have the real-time clock, and here we have the countdown to the start, so that counts you down. Here we have the estimated start, so this is the estimated time when you need to start flying towards the start cylinder. So this is really useful. So say you are a kilometre away from the start, it will basically tell you when to start flying towards the start cylinder in order to arrive there just as the start ticks over, just as it becomes time to start. And that's about it. Here it says wind. You'll have underneath there the number displaying the wind speed. You got your battery level, you got your sound level, and you've got the fact that Bluetooth is on here. And that is the glide page in the start. Thermal page in the start, if I go back a page to page 3, it's very similar. It's got a lot of the same information. You've still got your speed to start, or you've got all your vario things here. You've got your speed to start, you've got your distances to the start, and you've got your countdown to the start and your estimated time to start flying towards it. But the only additional thing you've got is this little circle here. Now what this circle shows is in the current thermal, so this page will automatically come on when you start thermaling, and in the current thermal there'll be a little T here somewhere in this circle which indicates the strongest part of the thermal that you have been in. So if the T is up here in front of you, then that indicates the current strongest part of the thermal was ahead of you. That's within the last 50 feet, last 50 feet of altitude, the strongest part of that thermal. So if it's off to the left here, that means you have to turn left to get to it, and as you turn left you'll see the T going round like that. So those are the start pages that automatically switch between themselves. Once you've crossed the start, you'll be directed to the main pages, the glide pages, sorry, the main pages of the task to fly the rest of the task. So I'm just moving it here to page 2, this is the glide page of the main pages, and this page will stay on for the rest of the task, or this pair of pages will stay on for the rest of the task. So the information you've got on this one, the glide one, you've got your time that you've been flying. Really important information down at the bottom though. This is your current glide angle that you need to get to go. So generally speaking, if that's a 10 to 1, then you're going to make it, usually speaking, depending on wind speed, wind conditions. Here you have the distance to the goal, and here you have the projected height that you will arrive above goal. bearing in mind that this is purely an estimate that the software is making, so it might be wrong dependent on the conditions or the conditions that you're now flying in, which might be different to the rest of the flight. There are some different modes that you can set for this. One of them is that it will calculate this based on the last glide that you've had, which means if you are doing a downwind flight where you're flying from here, there's a waypoint here and the final waypoint is here, it will calculate what it expects this glide to be like based on what this glide was like. Now if they're in the same direction, then it's probably going to be a reasonable estimate. But if the course looks like this, where you fly here and then back here to go, then depending on the wind direction, this could be way out. But there is another setting which doesn't calculate it on the last glide, but calculates it on the all the glides you've had throughout the flight and includes the wind speed. So basically it's making an estimate based on how the whole flight's gone. And that is more useful, I think, when you are changing direction from the last turn point towards the goal, and that's the one that I'm going to experiment with using. But as I say, this height above goal, it's only an estimate, and you've really got to take into account the local topography, the local conditions, and how the conditions might have changed during your flight. Finally, we have the main thermal mode. So when you are just past the start cylinder and you're thermaling, this is the page that will be displayed. All the same information for thermaling as the previous one. You've got your thermal marker showing you where the strongest part of the thermal, you've got your distance to the next waypoint, shortest, optimized. You've still got the rows which shows you, or sorry, the strip which shows you more close detail of the where the waypoint is, and you've still got the circle showing you that next waypoint. Also on this grid you'll have a little flag which shows you where the wind is coming from. That can be quite useful, just a visual representation of where the wind is coming from. I find that quite useful. And you've still got your glide required to go, your distance to go, and the height that it estimates that you'll arrive above goal. So 4 pages, quite simple really when you get used to them, and not as complicated as previously when there were 6 pages. I hope that you found that useful. If you've got any questions on that, then let me know. One final thing to mention, if I turn the Vario off, holding the power button down. Now, you might find sometimes you press the button to switch the Vario on. I'm going to say nothing happens, but it came on that time. Let's try again. There, I'm pressing the button and nothing's happening. My Vario is not coming on. And you might think, oh bugger, my Vario is broken. But if you noticed, I was pressing other buttons immediately before this one. Basically, this is a safety feature to stop the Vario being switched on in your bag. So if before you press the power on button, if any other button has been pressed within 5 seconds, it won't work. So it needs 5 seconds of no buttons being pressed before you press the power button. So basically a safety feature to stop the Vario being switched on in your bag. So yeah, I hope you found that useful. Any questions, let me know.